Hello friends, this is me, your host, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. So let's start our video with a book review, Good Vibes, Good Life. This is all about how self-love is the key to unlocking your greatness. This is by Vex King. When you start loving yourself, life starts loving you too. By keeping your vibration high, you will attract more opportunities and blessings into your life. So first let's we start from the introduction. So for 3 years of my childhood, I had no fixed home. My family and I lived with relatives, and for short periods during this time in a housing shelter. I was grateful that we had a roof over our heads. But I remember how frightening the housing shelter experience was. There were always unpleasant looking characters lurking around the entrance, who would throw us piercing stares when we entered the building. Being a 4-year-old child, I felt scared. But my mother reassured me that things would be okay. She said that we should just look down and go straight to our room. One night we popped out, and when we returned, there was blood all over the staircase and on the walls in the corridor. Fragments of glass covered the floor. My sisters and I had never seen anything so horrific before. We looked up at our mum. I sensed fear in her. But again, with courage, she told us to tread carefully over the glass and get up to our room. Still shaken by what we had seen, my sisters and I tried to work out what may have happened downstairs in the corridor of the shelter. Then we heard screams and shouting, followed by sounds of chaos. It was terrifying. Once more, we looked to Mum for comfort. She pulled us in close and told us not to worry. But I could hear her heart pounding. She was just she was just as scared. We had very little sleep that night. The screams went on and on. I was surprised that no police came and that no one else seemed to be trying to calm the storm. It was as though no one cared about the safety of the people there. It felt like no one cared about us. All we had was each other in a world that seemed cold and corrupt. When I discuss childhood memories like this one with my friends and family, they are shocked by how much I can remember. I often find them asking, how do you even remember that? You were so young. I don't remember everything, nor are my memories crystallized in clear detail. However, I do remember how I felt during the majority of my experiences, good and bad. There was so much emotion attached to the events that took place, and these memories haunted me for a very long time. During my late teens, I wished a lot of these memories would just go away. I wanted to erase them so that I was no longer reminded of the struggles I had faced as a child. I was even embarrassed by some of them. I felt uncomfortable with who I was. There were times when I said and did things that didn't match the child I was deep down. I often felt hurt by the world and wanted to hurt it back. Things are different now. I look back on my memories and embrace everything that happened. There is a lesson to be learned from every event. I realize that the good, the bad, and the downright ugly events are all a part of who I have become. Although some of them may have been painful, they are a blessing. They have taught me so much. My experiences have left me with a drive to find a way out of misery and a path towards a better life. I have written this book to share the lessons I have learned in the hope that they will provide you with some clarity and guidance to live what I call a greater life. It's up to you what you take from my stories. I accept that some ideas will resonate while others will feel uncomfortable. Nevertheless, I do believe that if you can apply the concepts I discuss within the course of this book, you will experience incredible positive changes in your life. I am not a philosopher, a psychologist, a scientist, or a religious leader. I am simply someone who likes to learn and share my wisdom with others in the hope that it may release them from undesirable feelings and increase feelings of joy. I believe that every person on this planet is here to make a difference. I am devoted to helping you find your purpose so you can add value to our world, which is in such turmoil. If we can collectively become conscious citizens of this planet, we will lessen the burden we place on it. By living to your full potential, you will not only change your world, you will change the world around you too. Some people are comfortable with mediocrity. They avoid living a greater life, one that's beyond what most consider the norm. A greater life requires you to find your greatness. In simple terms, greatness is about becoming the greatest version of yourself. It's about breaking the imaginary boundaries that hold you captive in a life you believe you have to settle for, and touching the realms of the unthinkable. The greatness mentality means living a life without limits. where there are infinite possibilities. For this reason, we can't define where greatness begins or ends. We can only strive to become better. So, stop trying to impress people. Impress yourself. Stretch yourself. Test yourself. Now, let's learn about some self love. What is self love? To achieve a sense of peace, we need balance. Balance between work and play, between action and patience, spending and saving, laughter and seriousness, leaving and staying. Failing to achieve a balance across every area of your life can leave you feeling exhausted, among many other unpleasant emotions such as guilt. Here is an example of balancing action and patience. If you are the project leader of a final year university assignment and you catch a team member you like checking social media instead of helping your team, you may allow it to slide. If they do it on multiple occasions and you notice their productivity slipping, you may decide to warn them that if it persists, you will have to report them to your course leader. If they then choose to ignore you and continue their behavior, would you feel guilty about taking further action? If you are a kind and compassionate human being, you may fear hurting their feelings and getting them in trouble. By reporting them to the course leader, they may have to face severe consequences that affect their final grade and that might have implications on their future. However, they are disrespecting you and ignoring your warnings. You may feel like they are taking your kindness for granted, and you might worry that other project members will be disheartened if they see your lenience as a favoritism. In this instance, if you are kind and honest and follow a fair process. You need not feel guilty for taking further action. It's important to recognize that it's not unjust to let go of those who show no concern for you. As project leader, you can remember that you tried your best and unfortunately your friend chose not to respond. If you don't take action, you risk losing your inner peace and the respect of your team and harming your own final grade. By taking a balanced approach, you can feel more at ease and avoid any bad feelings, such as guilt. You demonstrate both action and patience. You can show that you are understanding and forgiving, and also firm and authoritative. The chances are that even if this student is upset by your decision, they will still respect you for giving them a chance. So, what does this have to do with self love? Well, the phrase self love is often misunderstood. Self love encourages acceptance, but many people use this as an excuse to remain unchallenged. In fact, self love consists of two essential elements that must be balanced. If one wishes to live a harmonious life, the first element encourages unconditional love towards yourself. The focus is on mindset. The truth is, you won't love yourself more if, for example, you lose or gain weight or undergo cosmetic surgery. You may feel more confident, sure, but true self love is when you appreciate where you are and who you are, regardless of any transformation you aspire to. The second element encourages growth, and the focus is on taking action. Improving yourself and your life is also self love. Because it means you recognize that you deserve more than settling for mediocrity. When it comes to self love, think about what it means to love others unconditionally. For example, your partner may have annoying habits, but this doesn't mean you love them any less. You accept them. I convinced myself I was living a lie and kidding myself that I could do big things. It seemed clear right then. Great things were never meant for me. So I trolled through employment websites and applied for a variety of jobs that looked fairly interesting and paid well. Even though I wasn't qualified for them, I thought that if I could land one, I wouldn't seem like a complete failure and would at least have some money to help out my family with their debt, bills, and expenses, including my sister's weddings. In my covering letters, I explained that although I was underqualified, I would be the perfect employee. No one responded. Underneath it all, I knew I couldn't quit university when I had already come so far. I had expended so much energy trying to find a way out of the problem. But now it was time to face what had to be done and hope for the best. But first, I had my elder sister's wedding to attend. This added more pressure. It meant that I would have to hand in an assignment earlier than anyone else and take time off university just 2 months before my final deadlines, which would set me back even more. Stubbornly, I told my family that I couldn't go to the wedding, even though I knew I would forever regret missing such an important event. In the end, I did go, albeit reluctantly. And soon, as I got there, something unexpected happened. I felt calm and relaxed. The wedding was in Goa, India, and it was beautiful. Everyone there was shining bright with happiness and love for my sister and her new husband. Honestly, at this point, I was I wasn't trying to feel positive. I was comfortable, feeling down and feeling sorry for me too. But this new environment created a welcome shift in me. For the first time in ages, I felt grateful. I will always remember my sister's wedding, and it taught me a lot about how the universe operates. On my return home, the positive feeling stayed with me. I felt good and very calm about the chaos outside me. And my renewed steadiness motivated me to finish what needed to be done. I created a dummy scorecard that displayed the overall mark I would receive for my degree. I would stare at this for a few minutes each day while pretending that the impressive grade on the scorecard was real. I didn't quite believe that I would achieve it. It was merely a desire, but I did believe that I would do well nonetheless. I made up my mind to go to the library every single day for hours on end. I put in the huge amount of extra work needed to complete the group assignment and more. During my breaks, I took time to chat with positive people who were able to make me feel good about myself. One of them was the woman I would eventually fall in love with for life. When it came to exam time, handing in assignments, and doing final year presentations, I was confident that I would done enough. As it turned out, I didn't quite get the marks that were on my dummy scorecard. But I did pass comfortably. And I aced one of the hardest exams on my course, which came as a surprise. I went on to have similar successes by using the law of attraction. But overall, the results were hit and miss. I knew I was missing something. When I found out what this was, I began to have more consistent success. I was able to test this on others to see if they had also benefited from my discovery. And they did. In fact, many of them were able to do things that had once seemed impossible. Not everything I have wanted has manifested. This has usually been a blessing in disguise. Too many times I have believed that I wanted and needed something, but it was all for all the wrong reasons. Over the years, I have gained clarity and sighed with relief for not getting what I thought was surely meant for me. Often, I have not got what I wanted, only to find I have later been blessed with even more. My time at university was a financial struggle, although I would be given a student loan. Most of it went on my accommodation. I had very little to live on. I couldn't buy any course books because I couldn't afford them. I wouldn't ask my mom for money because I knew she was struggling herself. I knew that if I did ask her, she'd somehow find the money for me as she had done her whole life, even if it meant that she couldn't eat. For the most part, I budgeted well. I could go out and party with my friends regularly. I never went hungry, and I didn't have to keep wearing the same clothes. I made a little money from online endeavors like building customized page layouts on MySpace. During one summer term, I returned home for a break. I had no money left and everything felt hard. I didn't want to go back to university because I didn't enjoy the work and I had no motivation to complete my summer assignments. Having spent much of the year studying, I was forced to find a summer job so I would be able stay afloat when I went back to university. All my all of my friends were planning a much needed holiday together, and I couldn't afford to go. And I was having problems with a girl. The drama I was experiencing in my romantic and platonic relationships constantly angered me, and I didn't feel good about my life. One evening, I came across a book called The Secret. People were saying it was changing their lives, and that everyone could benefit from it. It was founded on a simple principle, the law of attraction. The premise of the law of attraction is that what you think about, you bring about. In other words, we can attract the things we want in our lives by committing our thoughts to them. This applies to the things you don't want as well as to the things you do want. Quite simply, whatever you focus on will be returned to you. So, the law of attraction stresses the importance of thinking about what you want, rather than focusing on things you fear or dread. The law of attraction places great emphasis on positive thinking. To me, it sounded too good to be true, so I began to do more research and I read about people who are claiming that the law of attraction was bringing them astonishing changes. Could I apply this to my life too? I knew exactly what I wanted: to go on holiday with my friends. I needed roughly 500 pounds for this to happen. So I followed the general guidelines and tried to be as positive as I could. A week or so later, I received a letter from the tax office saying that I may have paid too much tax. Was this a sign that the law of attraction was working? I filled out the form to provide them with further details and posted it back to them as soon as I could. A week went by and I heard nothing. My friends were getting ready to book their holiday and I felt miserable that I wouldn't be able to join them. The potential of a tax rebate lingered in the back of my mind. With growing frustration, I rang the tax office and asked them if they had received my letter. They confirmed that they had and that I would be here back soon. At this point, I felt excited, but I was running out of time. The summer term was ending and my friends would be going away soon. Another week went by and I still hadn't received anything. I was starting to give up on the idea and told my friends to book the holiday without me. I decided to focus elsewhere and lift my mood by reading motivational material. At least this would make me feel a little better about life. A few more days passed, then an envelope from the tax office arrived. I opened it nervously. Inside was a check for £800. I was shocked, overwhelmed, and overjoyed. I went to the bank as fast as I could to deposit the check. Checks usually take up 5 days to clear, but this one was in my account within 3 days. The following Monday, my friends and I booked a last-minute holiday and flew out 4 days later. I had a wonderful time, but more importantly, I became a believer in the law of attraction. I decided that I was going to use this to change my entire life. The law of vibration. The universe responds to your vibration. It will return whatever energy you put out. Beyond the law of attraction is the law of vibration. It's the key component to a greater life. Once you learn and apply the ideas around this law, your life will transform. This isn't to say that you will avoid all difficulties. What you will do, though, is find a way to take control and create a life that feels just as good as it looks. One of the earliest authors of self-improvement literature is Napoleon Hill. His 1937 book, Think and Grow Rich, remains one of the best-selling books of all time. And many of the world's entrepreneurial gurus praise its guidance to achieving success. His research for his book, including interviews with 500 successful men and women to find out what they had done to attain their success. He then shared the wisdom he'd accumulated from them. Among his conclusions, he claimed, "We are what we are because of the vibrations of thought which we pick up and register through the stimuli of our daily environment." Hill makes many references to the concept of vibration in his book. And you will see the word vibration today commonly abbreviated to vibe, a number of times in my book too. So this is all we have from this book today. I hope you guys enjoyed the story of this book. You liked it. If you did, don't forget to press the like button and share it with your friends and family. So I'll be back with another video with another book review. You can also suggest me any book in the comment section. I can give a review on that book too. So I will give another review on another book for tomorrow. Till then, just take care and goodbye.